I'm Callie Lewis. You're watching Geek Brief TV. This is Brief 335, brought to you by the Nokia NA10. This is going to sound like one of those I read Playboy for the articles kind of tales, I guess, but here goes. Neil clicked on a link to look at some headphones available from Urban Outfitters. He got distracted by another link that said swimwear, and he clicked said link. He was greeted by what we believe to be one of the most extraordinary apparel displays ever developed for the web. Roll the clip. Swimsuits are displayed in individual movie frames, one after another. There will invariably be those who say we're showing this only because it's girls in swimsuits, and I hope you trust me enough when I tell you it isn't that. This is a really cool way to sell clothing online. After the distraction and both being muy impressed with the display, we took a look at the headphones that were the original focus of the Quest. First, let me start off with a disclaimer that I know nothing about the world of DJs. These Grande cans are made for DJs by Boosted Mobile. They're compatible with portable media players and MP3 capable cell phones. They include a push-to-talk microphone. They got my attention because they're not the standard headphone black we're so used to seeing. There is a black version, but the one labeled raspberry reminds me of Punky Brewster, and anything that reminds me of Punky Brewster is a hit in my book. Let's turn the knob in a serious direction. My pal up in Washington, Chris Perillo, recorded a 30-minute manifesto calling for a community of community owners, operators, moderators, and members to come together to work on a common project. The goal is to build an open-source content management system that meets the needs of content producers, but more importantly, meets the needs of the community of users. Chris proposes that it be built on Drupal because WordPress is great for blogging and Drupal is great for community.
I've been using open source software ever since it was available. I love it because the idea of code that lives forever it's compelling. But I've been looking for the longest time for a community platform, something that was open source, that was just like simple enough to use or could be molded to be simple, at least from my perspective, that was powerful, that was moldable, hands-on, that had strong support from the developer community, a groundswell of, not just knowing its power, but being able to surface its power. And maybe this is the wrong way to explain it, but I'm going to do my best. They call it community plumbing, which is accurate. Because if you want to build your own CMS, content management system, not just a blog, but let's say you wanted to have like a dig clone, or auctions, or a store, or a forums, or groups, or a group calendar, or you name it, anything that you can plug into a community, that's what Drupal is. But to this day, I can't go and get like a community out of the box. I have to build it myself, which is cool, because that's what's great about a system like Drupal, is they have these modules that were developed by independent developers. You can kind of pick and choose, you've got a shopping cart, even though it's open source, it doesn't cost anything. And you kind of, here. There's some templates out there, or you can find a developer or designer to create a template for you. I mean, there's all this power. On the web, you're a television studio, a radio station, a newspaper, a magazine. You're a publisher with a vibrant community where editorial and viewer interaction can intermingle. We'll need information architects, developers, designers, quality assurance, copywriting, leaders, other roles crucial for the initial and ongoing guidance and assistance. Drupal has a strong chance, and I don't know how quickly it can come together. I know it can come together very well, and I know we have a chance to make a gigantic impact.
I'm on board, Chris. Here's where the current system falls short for me. I produce a few but expanding number of shows. Most of my shows are released in multiple formats, or they will be soon. It's almost impossible to communicate to the Geek Brief community about the myriad of options for subscribing they can choose from without addressing it over and over and over again on Geek Brief. That would be annoying for friends of the Brief who have already figured out which format is right for them. Leo Laporte uses Drupal for Twitch shows and it seems to work, but Drupal isn't nearly as accessible as WordPress. If I grasp Chris's mission correctly, mission accomplished would be a powerful Drupal that is as accessible as WordPress. I'm on board to help any way I can. I'll start by encouraging developers interested in the project to read Chris's entire post or watch the entire video. I'll embed it in the show notes at www.geekbrief.tv. TV. If you follow Neil or me on Twitter, you might have seen a tweet about a very nice gift we were given after speaking at the SMU Mac Users Group. It was an unopened box of Think Different posters from the Apple Think Different campaign. Windows users probably won't be moved by it, but Mac users know this is a special thing. I'm not ready to take the shrink wrap off yet, but I wanted to share these with you guys because it's right up there with meeting the WAs. This brief is sponsored by the Nokia N810 and my discount code Geek Brief TV, which will save you 15% when you purchase an N810 from Nokia. I'm Callie Lewis. Thanks for watching. It's almost impossible to communicate to the Geek Brief.
Communicate what?
Communicate.